We up on both of those? All right, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How's everybody doing? Boy, I sure wish I had a private jet, I'll tell you that. I'm going to get me one, though. I'm going to get me a jet because I'm going to start buying time. This flying commercial's bullshit, man. It's for the birds. I'm telling you. I didn't get home till midnight last night. My kid, we're in Baltimore. We're playing lacrosse, probably the most important tournament out there in Maryland. That's the mecca of lacrosse. And these monster Texas kids come in there. We end up all the way to the finals. We lose by 1 goal to probably the best team in the nation. So it was a tremendous showing by my son's team. But there are 6 kids on his team that have private jets. 6. So they all just rolled out on their jet. They were probably home by the time we were, going through security, right? I'm telling you, man, we're going to figure out a way to get a jet. Because that's when you buy time. And that's what we're talking about this morning. We're talking about production. So on Meerkat and Periscope, you're looking at our morning sales meeting, a Scrum. I'm Matt Manero. This is Commercial Fleet Financing. Why are we doing this? Maybe you guys get some insights on better ways to run your business. And maybe you're in the equipment finance business, you get some tips. Or maybe you need equipment for your business and you learn about us. Either way, it's an exposure issue. Let's not be shy about what it is we're doing it for. We want you guys to know who we are. And in order for that to happen, we got to get out there and produce content so you guys can see it. So when you're in the market to buy equipment, you can come to us, okay? So let's talk about this idea of production, guys, in our world, right? What is production? As we think of production, we typically think of applications, right? So I want to reward Marcos. Marcos had the most apps last week with 29 apps, okay? That's a lot.
You know what kind of sucks, though, is that I had 20 by Tuesday.
Yeah.
So the end of my week sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, what's fascinating, though, is if you look at the app tracker for Marcos and you actually look at the numbers that he has, very small percentage of Marcos's application flow were auto turndowns, right? A lot of those deals have heartbeats. Let's talk about production, though, a little bit further, though, because we're talking about it as it relates to app flow in here, but production is really important just in life, okay? Because most of us produce stuff that don't matter. We produce stuff that doesn't matter. We produce a garden that's got cucumbers in it and a couple melons, right? Maybe we produce this great recipe in the kitchen. But the big thing is, what the hell are we producing? Because when you go to Baltimore, Maryland, and you fly 3 kids, and you stay at the Capitol Hilton, and you go to the dinners, and you're traveling around, and you spend the extra money to get the convertible. Why? Because the kids like it and it makes them feel happy. You need production to do that. The machine needs tokens all the time, gang. Don't forget it. So ask yourselves these questions. What the hell are we producing in our lives? Are we producing stuff that matters, or are we producing crap? Are we producing just cycles that don't get us anywhere? So let's look at some ways of production, right? What can we produce? We can produce value. We can produce money. We can produce relationships. We can produce contacts. And we can produce revenue and expenses. So ask yourselves for this week, because the word of the week is production. What are we producing in our lives? Preston, are you producing an incredible amount of social media content for us? I hope so, because that's your job here. But outside of here, what else are you producing? Are you producing health? Are you producing fitness? Are you producing relationships? What else are you doing in your life? What else are you producing? Shawnee, on the boat, are you producing relationships? Are you producing time with your friends? Are you producing memories for the kids to tube? What are we producing outside of this place, guys? Because now here's the greatest challenge. You got to produce more than just one area of production. Life isn't good enough if you're just producing revenue. It's not good enough, man. And it ain't good enough if you're producing this great recipe that you read in O Magazine. Okay? It ain't enough, guys. You got to produce on multiple fronts. So the challenge for the week is, how much shit can this group produce? And I'm not even overly concerned about this, because I know if we start to produce more outside of this place, we will produce more inside of this place. So the question is about production. What are we doing? So why are we producing what we are producing becomes the question for the week. And you guys need to spend some time and ask yourselves, what the hell are we producing and why? Or are we just the bear at the end of the stream, man, eating the skeletons, going no place, week after week after week, okay? So let's reverse that. Let's go back to a little bit of an idea of lifestyle by design. What is it that we're producing? Why are we producing it? And in how many different areas can we produce it? Multiple areas. It's not just a sales thing. Ops, you need to ask yourself the same question. What are you producing? What are you producing? Because the machine needs the tokens. And I want this place to produce a shitload of tokens for us. So let me ask yourself a question. When you guys go on a trip and you rent a car, how many of you look for the cheapest car? Raise your hand. Bad. Bad. Don't do that crap. The enjoyment that my two kids got out of rolling around in a 15 Mustang convertible that cost me an extra $50 a day is priceless. But if I went into the deal saying, geez, yeah, like the guy in front of me, right? I was freaking waiting for hours to get to the freaking line, and the guy in front of me was like, do you think the car seat will fit in the economy car? And I was ready to jump over the counter and just hit this guy, right? Come on, man. If you focus on pennies, you can't get the dollars, gang. Raise it up. Go bigger, okay? The ability to be in a position where when they tell you the convertible's an extra $50 a day and you're like, sounds freaking great. Let's go. You need to be in that spot. Stop looking for ways to go cheap. Look for ways to go big. And don't look for ways to go big in one area. Look for ways to go big in lots of areas. That's the challenge when it comes to production. We might produce a lot in one area, but we give up in the other. So we fill one bucket to empty the other bucket. Cardone says life doesn't work like that. You need to lift, all buckets need to fill. You cannot take from one bucket to fill the other bucket. You must have greatness in all, okay? The message for today is production on lots of different levels, at levels higher than we did last week, okay? Challenge yourself to ask yourself about your life, what am I producing? And can I produce in multiple areas? Can I produce at home with my wife? Can I produce with my children? Can I produce at my office with income? Can I produce in the needle of net worth? Can I produce in my health? Can I produce in my fitness? Can I produce with my friendships? And find a way to tap into those, man, and produce more this week. That's the challenge, okay? It's not a browbeat, it's a challenge. Produce more in multiple areas and see if this week ends up better than last week, okay? All right, let's go for it. Periscope and Meerkat, that's your answer for today. It's about production. Don't go easy on yourself or your people or your organization. The organization must produce more. If you have people who produce more in multiple areas, we end up with better companies. Thanks. Till next time. Okay, let's look at the app flow.